But Ian Murray, your party leader, quoted that well-known political philosopher Baldrick today, saying there was a cunning plan and the cunning plan was no plan.
Well, I don't think there is a plan at the moment because the government weren't prepared for Brexit, and I think the First Minister is absolutely correct to talk about a broad coalition of parties and politicians to come together to oppose a hard Brexit, which I think would be very much in the interests of the country. So I hope the First Minister will allow other parties to be involved in that conversation so we can build that broad coalition of people who don't want a hard Brexit. Look, we've heard from sectors from the financial services sector to higher education to the car manufacturers, all saying that we need to get access to the single market. We need to make sure we have some kind of free movement of people to allow us to have the workforce of the future and to fill the workforce gaps that we have. All these things need to be resolved. I think the Prime Minister is playing a very strange game here by not revealing what would be the negotiating position, that it should go to a vote in Parliament. I think that's a dangerous game, and I think it's disingenuous to the British public not to say what the negotiating position would be, to give certainty to EU nationals that are here, to businesses who employ EU nationals, and to businesses who want to grow in the future but don't know what the future looks like.
Ian Murray, as far as sort of Heathrow and infrastructure is concerned, it is a bit of a truism that everyone wants better connections, but no one wants an airport runway in their back garden.
Well, that's true, but I think your initial question to Alberto Costa was having a post-Brexit infrastructure plan in the UK to boost productivity in the economy. We've been calling from that from post-worldwide recession in 2008, and the previous Chancellor and Prime Minister said no, they would rather cut public spending and try and get the deficit under control rather than using historically low interest rates and availability of historically cheap money to invest in our infrastructure, get people back to work and grow the economy for the future. I'm now glad they're on that Labour page, because that's the page we've been on for some time. Heathrow, from a Scottish perspective, is pretty much a no-brainer, but we do have to make sure that the environmental issues are dealt with, that capacity issues are dealt with, so that new slots make sure they go to regional airports like Edinburgh, Glasgow, Aberdeen and Inverness and get away from this monopoly situation in Scotland at the moment, but also don't undermine the growth of the economy in Scotland in terms of direct routes from Edinburgh, Glasgow, Aberdeen, etc. to other parts of the world.